I just want them to believe that there is love inside them. Just choose to share and have purity in that. Because if you have purity in that, everything is, awesome.
Welcome to I Share Hope, the podcast where world leaders share their real stories of hope and how you can use actionable hope to start changing your life today. And now, here's your host, Chris Williams.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, man. What you doing?
I was waiting for you. It's like 3 hours in the morning here in Delhi.
And you were hoping I didn't forget, right?
No. I was just going to message you.
So I'm reading this Skype message you sent me. What was it, today or yesterday? And you've had an exciting week. What in the world have you been doing?
Oh, yes. So it was like, an exciting 3 months, or rather a quarter. So this was, about the northeastern part of India.
Yeah.
So it is like heavily, forested, and this area had a huge political, significance, in the early years. So now there are a lot of rebel armies there which want, a separate state and a separate country there. So because of that, they do not allow any kind of development to be happening. Since I do not belong to neither any government organization or any kind of an NGO which would be, working against them. So I penetrated this area, and then I set up a solar school there. So it's like a 200. I took a 200-watt system,
Okay.
solar system, the solar panels.
Yeah,
And
solar
everything.
panels, yeah.
So I took it there, and with the help of a local government teacher, I set up a small community center in which these panels are there, and every day from 5 to 7 in the evening, these children come over, and then they get taught through internet, because through these solar panels we are powering up two systems, computer systems. So
Wow.
so from teachers from all over the world are teaching them. So there are like 65 children now, and most of them belong to the specially abled category, because they cannot afford to go to school, because here in India education is very biased. So if you're specially able, you won't be able to go to a normal school. I think it's the same way there in America as well. You have you have special schools for specially able. So this one is that, and luckily and fortunately, the name of the school is the Hope School.
No way. Okay, so that's really cool. Great timing. Appreciate you
Yeah.
naming the school after our project. I can't thank you enough. All right, so you just went back into the jungle in northeastern India where there's a lot of rebel leadership. You set up 200 solar panels and you're gathering electricity all day long, and for 2 hours every night, you educate these local kids who have no other way to get to an education spot.
No. So this was one of the projects which I've been doing.
That's so cool. And you've had crazy drama in your life, from
Oh, wow.
being beaten and kidnapped and all that sort of thing, to creating things, to being one of the youngest social entrepreneurs on the Forbes International list. I mean,
Right.
you've had the highest and the lowest moments of anybody I've talked to. How in the world?
Yes. And that has been the beauty of life.
Bless
Excuse
you.
me.
Yeah.
I have a bad throat, and I have fever.
Oh
So
no.
you might have
I'm so sorry.
because of this very strenuous journey there.
Yeah.
So I just came back 3 days back. So, well, Chris, the thing is that for me, beauty has always been on the extremes. See, till you do not know death, you won't ever know what life is all about. Till you do not know fear, you won't know what courage is all about. Till you do not have hopelessness, that is the moment till you do not know what hope is all about. So in the same way, the whole thing is in extremes. For me, as a dyslexic child, I could not understand. See, you know about dyslexia, right?
Yeah, I don't
How
I don't have dyslexia personally, but I have several friends who have it, and it's a
yeah,
it's a struggle for them to
right. It
work
is.
on anything.
But then it is a beauty. The thing is, I have a condition called as holoprosencephaly. Okay, now
Okay.
what is that? You have the left and the right brain, right?
Hmm.
I do not have that. So three of my lobes are like intertwined.
Really?
So yeah, so it's a very minor thing, but then usually it results in physical anomalies. But then in my case, it was not that. But then I could not understand the world, you know, the way people were telling me to. It is like you know, uh, the normal education system and the normal belief systems.
Mm-hmm.
So I always had this thing in mind, if this is done, then why it is done. So I had questions right from what God is all about, why this fan, which is like giving me the air,
Mm-hmm.
the breeze,
Yeah.
why can't this be my God? So these were my questions as a child.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote an essay on 3 plus 3. So mathematics, they used to give me this question. I know, nursery, the kindergarten.
Yeah.
3 plus 3. What is it? 3 plus 3 is 6, right? I
Yeah.
wrote 3 plus 3, an essay about 3 plus 3, 4 pages. I got a zero, obviously. So that was the kind of,
No.
you know, insanity I was like born with. So,
Wow.
these questions, they have made me reach these extremities,
Hmm.
right from, getting kidnapped, almost, near-death experiences. I was at gunpoint when I was 22. So that was my age when I could have, lived my life to the fullest. I've, lost my youth. But then, I'm 28 now. I started up when I was 21. So 7 years of this, youth which people talk about,
Yeah.
uh, I have done to go after my dream.
Well,
So I think
you're way farther ahead than most 60-year-olds, and you're only 28. I'm impressed.
no, but then yes, it is all madness, and I love it this way because you get to live a full life.
You're living a full life. Like every 10 years, you're living an entire life for most people. Amazing. All right, so just so I can have some fun here, I'm the worst at pronouncing names, so I'm gonna try it out, and you tell me if I'm getting this right. Is it Swapnil
Yes,
Tewari?
you are right. Bang on. First time, it's Swapnil.
Swapnil.
Yeah, Swapnil.
Swapnil. All right, first, and then say your last name.
It's Tewari.
Tewari.
Yes,
Hey,
Tewari.
I got it.
Oh,
Swapnil Tewari. All right, so there's people that can watch. They're watching this on YouTube. They listen to the podcast. Some of them read the episodes and just get the context. But if you can click the YouTube, then you got to see this guy. So, do you know what Swapnil? Do you know what a hipster is?
yes, I do. Yes, I
Okay,
am.
yeah, and I am. I was about to say this dude is the Indian hipster right here. He's got these super cool squarish glasses, this handlebar mustache, and he's just
Yes.
like the coolest guy ever.
Yes, I love it. I always, believed in, becoming the Robin Hood. See, you don't have to do good by, being, cared for or, pitiful or. So if you want to do good, why not do good in a, more
Yeah.
flashy way? So I love it this way. So whenever I go for my sessions also, Chris, because see, people want to see somebody who is shining. See, unless until you are not shining, you won't be able to make others, shine or even reflect.
You're
Just
right.
like the sun. See, sun, there is a hydrogen helium reaction always going on. It
Yeah.
is burning itself, okay, but it is giving out the energy. So because of that energy, we all are, this earth, this moon, everything is. So that is in the same way. So you have to shine no matter what.
Hmm.
I have been, recently last year I met with an accident. I was through, depression,
Hmm.
PTSD, post-traumatic stress
Yeah.
disorder. I had a cracked skull,
Huh.
and this accident was planted. So this whole thing, I'll tell you the story. Do you want to hear it right now?
Yeah, yeah. Tell me the story. So this is you're probably on question. You're like rolling through our questions. Hang on to your story because I want to ask you these
Okay.
in order. I want to
Yes,
set
that's.
this up right. All right. So
Mhm.
question. We're asking 1,000 people who are really making an impact all over the world. People from every genre of life about hope and how they think about hope, what they do with hope. And some people believe in hope, some people don't. Even our guests, we have guests that don't believe in hope. Fascinating conversations. So,
Lovely.
so tell me answer to question one. Here's the question: what is your definition or your favorite quote about hope, or what do you believe about hope?
Mhm. Chris, hope is a very, you know, again, a very weighted word.
Hmm.
It has a lot of weight, okay? Hope, if you understand.
Mm-hmm.
But when we understand, whenever you talk to people, see, we can, always discuss about the, the roots of the word, the lexicon of the word, the history of the word,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So I may or may not, choose to believe in the word hope. But then what I'm, really believing on is belief.
Hmm.
Hope is not an emotion. Hope is never an emotion. Hope is a stimulus.
Huh.
Hope is a stimulus. Just
Wow.
like you're breathing, right?
Yeah.
Chris, you're breathing right now. I'm breathing.
Mm-hmm.
We are like, thousands of miles far away, but we are connected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our neurons, our bodies are willing to talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Why is my heart beating right now? Right now, its purpose is to talk to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
There might be like two or three purposes. Like through Chris, this particular thought will go to millions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So hope is never an emotion. Hope is a stimulus. Okay. Now you keep this part, and then I'll go forward. Uh, you understand why every cell is working in the body, how it is working. You keep that particular cell in confinement, and it will find its own way back.
Mm. Wow.
How? If I want to die, how, I would like stop my breath. I'll stop breathing like this. How long can I stop?
A minute or two?
And it will
Yeah. It
flashback.
makes
No,
you have to take a breath.
I'll case
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, I'll case for that. Why? Did my mind tell my cells no? My cells reacted on their own.
Yeah.
So it is kind of an energy. Hope is an energy. It is a stimulus which is ingrained in each cell, each molecule, each atom of a body.
Mm.
So what we need to really believe is not in hope, but in the belief that our system, our spirit, our passion, the whole purpose of our life is
Mm-hmm.
hope actually. It
Wow.
is ingrained. It is the genetic code of our, whole existence.
Mm.
If it was not there, we would have been, a long lost race.
That's a great point. It really is in our genetic code. I don't know how that works, but you're right. All right. So, question 2 is, who has shared hope with you? Who's been a great giver of hope to you?
To me, Chris, I never saw life the way it is, right?
Mm.
Um, uh, I, almost since I, told you, I question everything. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I have questioned everything. Actually everything. Gods, people who are, giving hope. Actually, I'll tell them, okay, you have done this. Why? Because you wanted this. So you are selfish. Okay, something like that.
Yeah.
So I have always questioned things. Now, whenever you question things, you are looking at the broad, facets of life.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you ask, as I'll slightly tweak this question. Uh, you may want to say that whom I derive inspiration from, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Right.
because hope is derived from my own self, so I cannot go into that. But then yes, inspiration.
Yeah.
Now, inspiration I do not derive from any religious leader or book or nothing. I think the greatest inspiration is in a seed.
Mm.
Okay, it's in the ant, in the smallest things of life. Have you ever seen a seed? It is so vulnerable. See, I'll just boil it and I'll eat it. Just like beans, you have baked beans there in America, right? I love
Yeah.
American breakfast. So, so what is the existence of the bean? Just talk to the bean once. Hey guy, what do you have inside yourself? So that bean will say, "Yeah, I'll get boiled and then you will eat me, and like hundreds of my brothers will be getting eaten by you." So what is the existence? But then it's the same seed. If it falls off your hand, the not the boiled one, the raw one,
Mm-hmm.
and it falls on the ground, and somebody spits on it. Okay, now that's all it needs. Okay,
Yeah.
that particular water and that particular mud, and it will create, oh wow, a
Yeah.
brilliant race of another,
Yeah.
beans. So in the smallest of things, I find I find this inspiration. Uh, I go into the nitty-gritties of things. I always do. I love reading people. I love
Mm.
you know uh, going inside their thoughts. Now, whenever that happens, I go inside mine as well. Now, how it happens is, Chris, that you may find an old hag crossing the road. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you may also find, in the same thing, the perception may be that there's a mother who is taking food to the ailing children,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So the scene is same,
That's true.
right? The scene is same. The scene is
Yeah.
same. Now, what is the person? I derive inspiration from them. Whenever I really, really, hate pity and sympathy, Chris. I hate pity and sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel they are like very, very derogatory words.
Mm.
If somebody is trying to, sympathize with anybody, I like hate it. I have my children, and they ask me, they're like, 400, 500 children, orphanages, in an orphanage. So I keep visiting these orphanages. So they sometimes ask me, "Bhaiya" means brother in Hindi. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they say, "Bhaiya, why are we without parents?" Everybody comes to us on their birthdays, and there's a practice in India where on your birthday or any big celebratory day you would go to an orphanage and donate money, and get photos clicked and then
Sure.
post on FB. So this is a fad. Okay.
Yeah.
So people do like that, and I hate it. So obviously these people, these children, they are affected by that. you know
Mm-hmm.
uh, People are coming and giving them chocolates on a particular day, and they say, why don't we have parents? Now I give, I just say, whenever, if there is a God, because they have to believe in an entity of God. Why? Because
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe that my, choice. So I tell them there is a God. Okay. So God, whenever, you know, that God, finds somebody who is not able to give, capable of taking care of himself, he would give parents. Now you have a superpower within you. So they would ask me, superpower? Yes, you have. You don't know? No. Like, close your eyes and imagine what you want to do. And now, in that manner, they would, start seeing life in a very different way. So, a 3-year-old would be a parent to a 6 months old. A 6-year-old would be a parent to 3-year-old. A
Wow.
12-year-old would be a parent to 6 years. So, it's like inter parenting.
Yeah.
So,
But
so
it's
I think,
purpose. Yeah, it's a
yes.
great
So I
purpose.
there is a lot of inspiration in the small things we see, the small things we do in our daily lives. So I derive my inspiration from that, and I keep it that simple, because every kind of philosophy and religion and person and religious leader and whatever philosopher is trying to only complexify things. Don't you see, Chris? They are only complexing things up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I was born as a human, just as a human, no Christian, no Hindu, no Muslim, no nothing. If as a human, not even Indian, American, African, no nothing, I was born as a human. What is my basic instinct? My basic instinct is love. My basic instinct is to love. It's not war.
Right.
This was all created by all these philosophies.
That's
So
so
I
true.
believe that I have to derive my inspirations not from these scriptures, not from these philosophies. I would rather, inspire myself from the nature around me. You know,
Yeah.
when a dog comes to me and licks my hand, just out of nothing. I don't have food on my hand. It's just licking. Okay,
It's
there is
just loving
there
you.
is
Yeah.
loving love.
Yeah.
So that is my greatest thing. So I would rather write another philosophy on it. But then that's like, it would be a vicious circle. Somebody else would come. Oh, Swapnil Tewari, who is that? That philosopher.
You have to
Got
write
it.
another one. Yeah. Over and over and over.
So,
Love it. Okay, question 3. Tell us about a time in your life when you've really needed hope and had to pull hard for that, just to get you back on track. I mean, you've had some,
uh,
some tough times back there.
yes, yes. There were instances. I'd start from my childhood. Chris, we have time, right?
No.
We have time, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Take your time.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah. It's almost 20 minutes on the so I was doing it's a huge thing now. So I was like,
Yeah.
cutting down to 2 or 3 events.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when I was like a child, I was a brash kid. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
very very rude, and bullying people all the way. Why? Because it was natural. I was not able to compete people on the ground, as in education and sports. So I was like competing them on other grounds. I would like bully people and do stuff like that. But then, still, at the age of 12, and I was a very pampered kid. My father doted on me, and well, my brother and mother as well. But my father was like, even if I would kill anybody, he would say, "Okay, you did right, so don't worry." So he was like that, he was like so doted. So I was like treated. I had a princely life, but then, at the age of 12, I lost him. Now, when in an accident. Now, after him,
And how old
the
were you?
whole. Pardon?
Uh,
I was like 12, 12, yeah,
12 when your
12 years.
father died. Okay, yeah.
So, and since I was the younger one, my brother, my elder brother, he's my father. My brother and my mother are my God. So, so my brother, they used to take care of me. But then since it was such a huge shock, I used to just focus on the purpose of my life. I would, look at the ceiling fan, and it's going round and round, and I'm thinking, why is this fan moving? What is the requirement of that breeze that is coming and, soothing my hand? So those were the kind of questions that were going inside my mind. I turned into an insomniac, and I could not sleep, for days. And for a 12-year-old, it was a huge thing. And at that moment, something magical happened. I one day, when I was like totally fed up, I took my mother's pills, sleeping pills, and
Oh,
decided to end my life. And
wow.
as soon as I took them on my hand and I was like pocketing them up, I just, just before that particular act, I just thought, um, why is my lung still working? Why is my heart still beating? Why is my whole body functioning right now if my body wants to die? See, your brain may be controlling all your organs in the body, but it is not the master of the body.
Yeah.
It is only a controller, right? Your heart has another significance which the brain cannot,
Right.
suffice. So I thought, each cell, each atom of our body wants to live, okay, for another moment. Now, why is that? So that cell knows probably what is next. So my mind may not know or may not perceive, but then there is a higher purpose thing, my body is working for, and making me, making me alive, making me, live longer. So I thought, this is not the moment. That moment may be later on. And at that moment, I just stopped that, and I went outside, and I looked at the sky, and then a magic happened. Chris, you won't believe this. I still do this. I looked at the sky and started speaking in a very strange language. I do not know what I speak. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah.
It was like Krishna oin motsina tarahat rasulullah ina har arda sele funosh fu imon motsina hin inahin or arda slalir arach nainin sporosh furohit I produb swahin matak. I do not know what I speak.
Do you know what you
Um,
just do you know what you just said?
no. I can speak it at any speed.
Yeah.
شبيني هرب السلالة هاي خلنا نقول سبنا يرد شو مشينا هنا ما تيجي خلنا نتيجي نقول أي هن أنا أي أرد سوش أي ربط سواد أفغاني خنسك. I cannot speak Hindi or English for that matter. These are my first languages. I cannot speak it at that speed. But then I'm speaking it as if I remember everything. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've gotten checked with various linguists as well. So they say there are like 6 to 7. They could figure out 60% of it.
Okay.
They said there are few like syllables from six languages, all ancient:
Interesting.
Latin, Arabic, Persian, and Greek, Hebrew.
And could they figure
So
out a direction to the conversation? Did they have any idea of what you're saying?
no, nothing, no, nothing, nothing. So they said
Oh.
they could figure out some syllables which were like, and that was only 50 to 60%.
Yeah.
So I could not know. So now what I'm doing is like, after all these years, I'm trying to, develop a lexicon. So I've written about 700 words. I'm developing a language.
Oh,
So,
cool.
so a lot of magic is happening. So that was the moment when I realized that the biggest inspiration does not come from outside. It comes from inside. Okay. Now the second moment that happened. So this was like when I was like 12. Okay. After that, Chris, what happened? I turned into a very extrovert guy, and this was like in contrast to what I was in the school. So I was like always running away from people, getting hiding in the library and stuff like that. So now I started rolling people, mentally and physically,
Yeah.
because I was turning into somebody who would reside on himself, and not on other social thing. So later on, I did my education, and after in 2010, I completed my MBA, and
Wow.
then uh, I got into this. The Federal Reserve of India is called Reserve Bank of India. Okay, RBI. So I got into RBI. It's a very coveted job here in India, and in 7 months into the job, I lost it. Okay, I do not want to work. But when I started my venture, Naked Colors. Okay, Naked Colors was into exploring and identifying tribes that are endangered or almost extinct. Okay, now
Oh.
these are civilizations that date back, thousands of years.
Yeah.
They have cultures, they have sciences that you cannot even imagine. Just like the native people in America,
Sure.
the
Yeah.
sciences they have, it's brilliant.
Wow.
Medicinal science. So
Wow.
it's like that. India is full of them. You must have heard about India.
Yeah. Oh,
India is
absolutely.
full of magic, full of wonderment. So imagine how much wonder would be there where people are not reachable.
Yeah.
So I decided to uh, go into these, explore these jungles, which are primarily again inhabited by these rebel groups. Okay, I told you about that rebel groups now,
Yep.
who want their own land. So I thought because of this socio-economic problems, the development is cut off. So I would go inside and then develop SHGs, self-help groups, okay, small sustainable business models for them, so that they may, develop their arts and their culture, and then I can connect them back to the modern world, where money and development is, so that the art is also saved, and they also get the due worth they deserve.
Wow.
So this was the idea. So my first trip was in a place called Jharkhand. Okay, Jharkhand is a central area in India. So this is India. I am right here. I am in Delhi right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jharkhand is like somewhere here. So this is
Okay.
the southern India. This is the Indian Ocean. Okay,
Sure.
so this is Jharkhand. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like central India and it's heavily forested.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there, and when I was going into the jungle. So this was the second time I am telling you about when I really required hope.
Sure.
I was going inside the jungle, and what I had done is it's very interesting. You know about guerrilla warfare?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Guerrilla warfare. Yeah, we hear that all the
yeah.
time.
You know about guerrilla. No,
Mm-hmm.
guerrilla warfare is a form of warfare where you come in disguise, or rather you would come unexpectedly. So that
Right.
is the core of that. So when I was in school, so I was not interested in the classes that much. So I would go into the library, and I would hide in a section which had all the senior book sections. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
senior books for the senior classes. So in class seventh, I was reading about guerrilla warfare and meditation techniques of the yogis, all the random stuff. So from there, I learned that whenever gorillas attack, they always attack diagonally. Okay, they would
Really?
not come from the front attack. Yeah. So
Hmm.
so the best place, if somebody comes from diagonally, they would hack your neck, right?
Yeah.
Cut. It will be all gone because
Yeah.
the carotid artery, all the arteries are there. So, so I knew, if they attack, they will attack diagonally because there are a lot of trees. So the probability goes way higher. So now when I was like going, so I thought if they come diagonally, the only thing they would catch hold on would be my hair. Why? Yeah, right. So I did not have this long hair. I have a pony now. So that time I had normal hair. So what I did was like I took a blade and shaved my head off. So if in one of the pictures I sent you, there's a picture in which I am like bald. So that is the moment. That is the moment when I. So I shaved off, and then I removed my shirt. Okay. So
Yeah.
I was with the jeans and my shoes. Okay. And I
Okay.
was like naked above.
Yeah.
I put a lot of oil on the body. Okay.
Okay.
Why? Because so now this particular idea comes from a criminal outfit in northern India.
Yeah.
What they do is they just wrap up loincloths on their groin area,
Yeah.
and then they apply a lot of oil on the body, and
Yeah.
then they rob. Okay,
Because you can't grab them
so
anymore.
yes. So that idea came from there. So I thought, so it was like going inside, and suddenly after about 10 to 20 kilometers, I was on a bike, okay, and suddenly this guy comes out of the tree and he lands on my shoulder. It is all oiled now. He catches hold, but there's nothing there. So, so instead of getting hacked, the sickle, they have a sickle, okay,
Yeah.
the sickle goes like just
Whoa.
right on my face, but then it does not hit me. So my bike falls off, I fall off, and this guy also falls off. So, so as soon as that happens, I have around 15 to 20 seconds. Okay, now that guy is pissed off, because he lost the. I have around 15 to 20 seconds. Wait. Let me tell you who I am, what I'm doing. I'm here to help you. Just listen to me once. And he's not willing to. He is
Yeah.
not because he's pissed off. He's
Yeah.
like a young guy,
Yeah.
probably a new recruit.
You made a fool. You made a
Just
fool of him. Yeah.
yes. So he was like trying his guerrilla warfare technique, and I, thought it off. So, so he was like, no, he was all furious. So by the time I got up, and he got up and he took out a local made pistol. It is called a katta here. Katta.
Okay.
Okay. So it's made up of water pipes, na? Water pipes, metal water pipes. See, water pipes is the whole thing,
Uh-huh.
and the muzzle is made up of wood. Okay,
Okay.
so it is a look, but then it takes a 12 bore cartridge inside it.
Okay.
Okay, so very lethal thing. Okay, so he took it out and he pointed it at me, and I was like totally astonished.
Yeah.
And as soon as the gun point was there, my whole life, you know, flashed in a second. Uh, I was like, I'm 22 right now. Okay, most of my friends are, having a lovely life out there. They might be having girlfriends and
Hmm.
they'll be going to disco and they're having lovely life. And Swapnil,
They're not riding their bike through a jungle with their heads shaved and
ah,
grease all over
I had said, right, right, right. and and it just flashed. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
And what is happening? And suddenly, I felt I would die, because one trigger and I was off again.
Hmm.
And then suddenly, you know, I don't know, this happens time and again. Whenever I am in need of hope, it triggers inside my system. So that's why I say it is a stimulus and not a
Mm.
emotion. Because emotion I can create. Chris, I
Yeah.
can make you laugh, I can make you cry. But your stimulus is your stimulus. If you want to scratch your hand, you would, right?
Yeah. Right.
That is a stimulus.
Hmm.
If you want to sneeze, you would.
Yeah.
So that's why. The hope is a stimulus. So as soon as this thing was on my head, I was like blank. And then suddenly I was like so afraid. And then suddenly this voice comes inside my head. This guy cannot do anything to you.
Hmm.
So I asked that voice why. That voice says, now that voice is me only, okay, somewhere. See, you have not done anything wrong, okay.
Hmm.
You are here for something larger than what he is fighting for. So he may be fighting for hatred, he may be fighting for death. I am fighting for life. I am fighting for hope. Okay. You
Hmm.
are here to give another life to these people. They would not, look at anything else in their life ever. And this is a larger thing. So this guy cannot do anything to you. Now,
Hmm.
as soon as this thing, I just, my whole thing changed. First, I was pleading, okay, and then suddenly I held on to his, that thing. I was like, okay, why are you not hitting me, huh? Yeah,
Huh.
click here, click your pistol, and I grew very furious. Click your pistol, shoot
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
As soon as I grew furious, he left his, the whole muzzle, and he was like afraid.
Whoa.
Why are you not hitting me? Hit me here. Why are you making me afraid? So that was the thing, and that was like natural. It was stimulus because I was like furious and probably I
Sure.
had this snippets at the time. So I took this pistol and threw it off, and then said, "You see, I am here for something larger. I am here for your own good. So listen to me and work with me." That guy was the first person to work with naked colors.
No way.
So later on he became so and now he has his own business in a city called Raipur, and he has children. At that time his name was Shambhu, and till
Wow.
today I joke with him, you were gonna kill me, huh? So he's like so that time he was like a boy of 17 to 18,
Hmm.
and now he has kids and he has a lovely life there. So
That's
that
a
was
really
again.
cool story. Talk about a turnaround. Wow.
So
So
that was the time,
are young
and
kids like him? I mean, they've grown up out there. I assume very little education, and the local warlords just kind of pull them in and recruit them to
right.
start working for them.
Hmm. It's a very shady thing. You do not know who is right and who is wrong, Chris.
Hmm.
So because that particular resistance there, sometimes it is good. Why? Because they have been robbed off of their due
Hmm.
things. But then people are there always to take advantage.
Hmm.
And now 90% of the rebellion here is totally money based. So it's all a wounds and cure game. You know what is a wounds and cure game, Chris? It's a wounds and cure. You would look that side and somebody would hit you as well, and I would see, and somebody would go, oh, who hit you? Okay,
Yeah.
and that was the hand that actually hit it.
It's
Okay,
confusing.
it's confusing. So I hit myself. Okay, and then I go, oh, who hit me? And this hand comes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll comfort. So this is wounds and cure game, and everybody is playing that game. You take it religions, take
Mm.
it economies, take it countries, take it
Mm.
anybody.
Mm.
So everybody is playing wounds and cure game, and here also it is the same thing.
Mm.
So it is kind of a very sorry state of affairs. So, but then things are happening. People are coming out, and there
Mm.
is still possibility that they might come out of it.
So how
So,
are you sharing? Next question. You're leading into this really well. How are you sharing hope right now?
uh-huh.
So I mean, you're telling us
uh,
a million things already, but what
Chris,
do you?
Chris, one thing.
Yeah.
There's the third incident, and which is very important.
Yes. Please tell me. Yeah.
Yes, okay, yeah. Because this would you'd because this is the most recent one. I told you about the post-traumatic stress disorder, depression thing,
Yep.
that accident that was planted.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is the
Yeah.
third. Yes, third. I hope you want to listen.
Oh, no,
Or
you've
you want
got
to
the
go to
best stories. I love this. You could do all night.
sleep. So, the thing was, uh, Naked Colors was, you know, I discontinued Naked Colors in 2013 after my kidnapping. So everything I lost and things went bad. So I was like, I had this all this learning from these places, you know, talking about belief, and so that was when I was at gunpoint, I was learning what belief is all about.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the moments when I was like learning all of these. So I started teaching this to people who would need hope,
Mm-hmm.
in their lives. So I took sessions for various orphanages, AIDS and cancer patients,
Mm-hmm.
old age homes, and any and everybody who requires work. So I used to get calls 2 at night. Somebody would be hello, yes, okay, I'm this way, okay, yeah, what how may I help you? Somebody, she says, I want to die. Why would you want to die? So they say, "Mane, why are you calling me?" So they say, we have heard that you help people. I help people, but then why would you want to die? So these are the
Mm-hmm.
kinds of things that happen, every day.
Mm-hmm.
People with depression, this suicidal tendencies, they used to come. So I believe in sharing this particular knowledge and wisdom with people. So I started this program with the sex workers in Delhi. Okay, the sex workers here in Delhi, they have a pathetic condition. Why? Because prostitution is not legal in India. So anything that is not legal is totally mad stuff.
Yeah.
So here they lead lives that are like pathetic, and I started a session with them, and it was called Shakti Vahini. So it's like Shakti means power, okay, and that is also the name of Mother Durga. She's an idol, an deity. So I started this program in which I used to counsel them, telling them how they can stop their own kids to get into this thing. So in that way they were like learning something or the else from my stuff. But then I got the permission to go inside only by the brothel owner. Okay, so she said, "Ki whatever you do, it does not matter, but then do not let them go out." Okay, because if they go out, she would lose business. So you
Okay.
would not motivate them to leave the brothel. No, okay, I'll do that.
So you can teach them anything you want to as long as you stay inside where they're supposed to stay.
Yes,
Okay.
they're supposed to say because they are their business. Now I started a beautiful venture with them. So it's again a business model. So it's about incense sticks, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Agarbatti.
Yeah.
It's a very simple method to make it. Okay, so I started this program where they would make these incense sticks, and that would get sold on the nearby areas. So through that, 65 women got a lot of opportunity to earn. Now they were earning 6 to 7 thousand rupees, okay, per month
Yeah.
through that.
Wow.
So because of that money, the customer count per night came down from 18 to 6 to 7. Okay. Now
Wow.
earlier they were like 18, 15 to 18 men who would come and
So they would
they
usually
would they
see
would
15 to 18 men each night, and they were down to 6 or 7 because they were making
imagine
money
imagine
elsewhere.
the physical and mental trauma they would go to.
Oh, I know.
So
It's yeah.
because of the this venture, they could lessen why, because they did not need money. 6 to 7 thousand rupees is coming from there. So they started rejecting and ill treating their customers. Why? Because they do not want it, right? Now because of that, the brothel owner, she got pissed off. Okay,
Not
okay,
bad.
because this.
Yeah.
So I was like, so one of the days, it was on 12th June
Mm.
last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was just outside this place, and I was like waving hand, and I had ended my session and I was going. So it was like 10 at night, and I was like with a helmet on, and I was like, okay, bye. And I was on a bike, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was just standing. and suddenly this car comes and hits me,
Oh.
and like I fly off like 20 meters and land on my head. So this is my head and this is my leg, and like I landed like this. Pow. So it's like gone. So
Wow.
I got a fracture here in the this area,
Whoa.
and it's cribbery from plate. It got fractured, and I was taken to the hospital by these women. So I was like hanging on to scantily clad women, 25 of them, and I was like. And the guard says, who are you? And we won't let you enter. So these women said, he's our brother, and
Mm.
if you won't let us, we will, lie naked here. So if you want, he was no, no, no. They got me into the emergency ward.
That's a sweet story. Wow.
So recovered. It was not that much that moment, but then later on, Chris, I found a lot of, I would get panic attacks and anxiety and depression. So I just thought, I used to treat people with the same thing, and I am getting the same symptoms. Why is that? I got a psychiatrist to help. While sitting before the psychiatrist, I was telling him more about himself than not myself. So he says, what is your history? I say, everything is fine. Kehte, are you in abuse case? No, nothing. Kehte, how did your father die? He died in an accident. And where was his wound? I said this side, and I explained to him, how everything happened, and this part went inside, and everything, the nitty gritty. And I was 12 at that time. He says that you are telling me as if it happened yesterday, and you are 28 now. It's been 16 years. So probably that particular scene has gone inside your subconscious, and because of this accident that came back, and that particular thing is making. So
Wow.
from that moment, I had to live with panic attacks and anxiety a lot many times. So I used to write poem on it. I've written a poem called Vacuum. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so vacuum is about when you feel this panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
So at that moment, because there are a lot many times when I wish to end my life again. Okay, what is this and what I've been doing and stuff like that. But then there is this one mad feeling inside. My company's name is Livemad. Okay, so I always abide by the motto. So this madness, this always tells me, see, whatever it may be, always glorify your death. So I'm not working for my life. I'm working for my death actually. Whenever I'm looking at that particular perspective, I want to live a very yeah, I want to die a very great death. You know, not like I'll get a diabetes or get a heart attack or not like that. So I would I want a very beautiful death.
Yeah.
So at that moment, this thing was like cracking on me. You always believe that you want a very good death. So this is a good death? No, it's not a good death. So you use yourself, you expend yourself into something great, and then you die. So at that moment, that hope again, that inspiration again. So that was the third thing, instance. So sorry, it was long, but then it was important.
Don't be sorry. Phenomenal stories and phenomenal background. You have a great platform to share hope from because you've experienced a lot of things that connect. Hmm.
Mm.
How are you taking those stories, those things in your past? How are you sharing hope with others today? You've come a long way. What are you doing today to share hope with people?
Chris, as I told, I take these sessions, okay? Live Mad is the name of the session. So this is a behavioral psychology based session in which I talk to people, and I do social experiments. I do something called as awake sleep hypnosis. So it's like 100 people would go off into a sleep and go inside and see their fears and apprehensions and then come back and then heal themselves. So it's like a brilliant affair. And
Wow.
the whole motto of the session is, see, Chris, you know about the halo effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Somebody you project, somebody is great and high, and with
Sure.
all this, all these titles.
Yeah.
See, it is very easy for people to look at me like that, somebody who has done this and that, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's living the dream of his life.
Right.
But then, if you see, we all, most of the people in this world, they are living that life. They are always they always have a Steve Jobs or a Mahatma Gandhi or a Nelson Mandela or a Vivekanand or a Martin Luther King to look up at. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
nobody is trying to go beyond. If you see, yeah,
Mm.
nobody is trying to go beyond Jesus. I question everything. Jesus
Sure.
was a man, right?
Right.
He said great things. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what if there is something beyond that?
Hmm.
Krishna was a man here. Krishna,
Mm-hmm.
Lord Krishna. He was a man too, though
Mm-hmm.
whatever avatar and whatever incarnation is there.
Sure.
But then there is something beyond too. So not that going beyond is very important, and going beyond only happens when you go within. So I believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
That to find the greatest knowledge you have to go within, not outside. You don't have to see and make them see this is something that is great and you have to pursue this. This is something this which is acceptable by the society as great, so you have to pursue this. You
Mm-hmm.
have to go inside yourself and become yourself to become great.
Mm-hmm.
And and it can be anything. It can be the David or Goliath. See, without Goliath there is no David.
Right.
Without Ravan there is no Ram,
Yeah, you're
right?
right.
So the existence of David is because of Goliath. So even Goliath is good. So become a Goliath, but don't become anything in between
Hmm.
David and Goliath. And most of them people are leading mediocre lives, and that is what I don't want.
Uh,
I want them to expend their lives into something which is great, fulfill their gifts because we all are gifted.
I
So
love that. That is really encouraging. Not choosing a mediocre life. You can choose. You don't want to be David. You don't want to be David or Goliath. That's a great example. You don't want to be Goliath. You don't have to be the bully. But sure, don't settle halfway. Be
yes,
be all in. Whichever way you're going to go, just be all there. Yeah.
certainly.
All right. So
And
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so that was the thing, and so in my sessions, so I focus on that, and there are no videos, there are no slides, there only talks,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a lovely thing, and the same sessions are taken with corporates and various education institutions, and that is for a price.
Hmm.
So from that, whatever I derive, I use in my social projects. So I have another social project called Shakti. It's a women safety device.
Mm-hmm.
It's this big a whistle. It's a Fox 40 whistle. Okay, so if any woman, you know about the condition in India, so it is bit unsafe, but we are still very respectful for our women.
Mm-hmm.
But then still these are times and the
Yeah.
evolution of the human mind. So because of that, a lot of women feel scared,
Mm-hmm.
but I believe that they have the power in their own hands. So
Mm-hmm.
because that I created this device. It's a this big a vessel. It costs 12 rupees. Okay, I don't know. It's like 1/6 of your dollar. Okay,
Yeah, it's not much. Yeah.
1/5 of your dollar. Okay,
Yeah.
so so women, if they are somewhere outside alone, or they may wear this as a bracelet. So this whistle would hang on to their palm. Okay,
Okay.
if in case there is a perpetration, anybody tries to grope or molest, they would simply start whistling. Okay,
Yeah.
because the first thing you would lose is your voice. Okay, the only
True.
thing you would not lose is your breath. So the inspiration came from Kate Winslet in Titanic, in the end scene when she's dying. Okay, so
Yeah.
she's like okay, so the only thing she finds is a whistle. So from there I connected.
That's
Okay,
great.
so so you start whistling, and if in case somebody tries to attack you, just hold the whistle. Okay, like this. Now, Chris, how does a man punch? Show me how to punch.
He
How does a
punches
man
straight.
punch?
He's straightforward, or
Yeah,
he comes to the sides.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
right, yeah, like that,
But
yeah.
women punch
Yes, yes, yes. Why?
exactly.
Because it's in our mind that this particular part,
Yeah.
this elbow, is to cover this part,
Yep.
protect this part. This
Right.
is ingrained in our genes.
Right.
So they invariably hit like this.
Yep.
So if you're, the whistle is like this. So suppose this is the whistle. So I'm holding on to like this, and you press a button here.
Uh-huh.
So there is a 2-inch knife that comes out of it. So if you're hitting like this, so it may harm the perpetrator enough so she can fight back.
That's a great
Because 2 inches
idea.
is not much. Because any artery in the body is not below 1.5 inches from the
Oh,
skin.
yeah.
So if you hurt one or two, that guy would be weaken enough to be pushed off.
Yeah.
So she has the power in her hand, if you understand, Chris.
I do.
And it is very, very cheap. It is not like pepper spray. It is not anything. You have those taser guns and all. So it's very cheap, and it is in my India. In the rural areas, people don't have money to buy food.
Hmm.
How would they have money to save their women?
Hmm.
So this is for that. And my hair, it is actually a vow. I decided to not cut my hair till the day this vessel is launched. I'm still fighting. It has
Wow.
been rejected 17 times. Why? Because there are a lot of people, those cliched page 3ites. Page 3ites is like, the pseudo intellectuals who would
Uh-huh.
call this particular idea as violent. Because why? Because it's not politically correct. You are giving somebody a weapon, right? You're weaponizing somebody. I'm saying you when they are, losing women out of their honor, isn't that bad? But
Yeah, you
even
just
women
you're giving
will
him a
do this.
fighting chance. That's not violence.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fair.
that's what, and that's a fair thing. So you're
Yeah.
giving a fair chance. But then I'm still fighting, Chris. Let's hope, next time, we meet or we hope to, interact. I have the whistle in my hand. So
I would
just
love to see
pray
that.
for
That's
this.
great. Yeah. Do you have a website for those?
No, I do not have.
Okay. Well,
But it is,
send
it's
me a
there.
picture of them or something. Yeah, give me a picture or
Sure,
something.
I have a PPT. I'll send it
Okay,
across.
great. All right. So, question 5. So, when we get off this call right here and we quit talking, I've got a family out there waiting for me. I need to get back to them. What am I going to do? I'm just a regular guy. What am I going to do to start sharing hope or growing in hope myself? So, give me the simple steps. 1, 2, 3
Uh,
kind of steps.
okay, lovely. Chris, what are you gonna do when you go back to the family right now? What are you gonna do?
I'm going to go out there, help them with some studying and eat some dinner.
Help. Okay. Study, help them study and
Eat some dinner with them and play.
eat some dinner. So you'd probably you have children?
I have 5.
5 children? You'd go and kiss them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? They're your love buds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your wife is there,
Mm-hmm.
right? You share a bond with her,
Mm-hmm.
right? What are these things, Chris? Did you have these when you were 5 year old? Did you have your 5 children or your wife? No,
No.
right? Obviously, you cannot have when you're 5.
Right.
Later on, when you moved on in life, you have all these relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, when you build these relationships, you choose to share. See, your children are your own, part. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then your wife, she was someone stranger to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then you chose to share love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the only language we know, as I said before, is the language of love, and it is an unending source of uh, you know compassion,
Mm-hmm.
and we have it inside our systems, but just we forget that, in all this brouhaha of the world, we forget that we are higher beings. We are able to love in a more profound manner. So when I talk to a person who would need hope and who would want to share hope and want to contribute in that manner, I would just ask you to wish to share this love, okay,
Okay.
in whatever manner. And it can be anything. It can be as simple as giving a smile to a person who is sad.
Mm.
And it can be obviously dying for a person who does not have anybody to fight for. So it is that extreme. But in both cases, in one you are giving a smile to a person, in one you are dying for a person, okay, to
Mm-hmm.
give that person life, okay. In both these cases, love is the same. That emotion is the same, and the purity of that emotion is very, very important.
Mm.
It does not matter what action you are doing, Chris. It never ever matters what action you are doing. It matters what is your intent.
Mm.
Your intent is intense. It should be the prime thing. Your content does not matter.
That makes
Your
sense.
intent does.
Yeah.
So that particular thing, I think, if we understand that, I won't complexify things here, because if I tell you, read this thing, or you know watch this thing, or do this particular act, we would be robots.
Right.
We would be robots. Yeah, if I try to, hey, you go there and make everybody cross the street, so everybody would every day would go and make everybody cross the street.
Yeah.
But then he may be capable of doing something else greater. Okay, he
Yeah.
would be able to find some financial model for the people in Sudan, in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But he's wasting his life making people cross the street, which is a lesser thing, right?
Yeah.
So I would not make people or tell people what they. I'm nobody. I'm nobody to tell them. It is their own conscience which will tell them. I just want them to believe that there is love inside them. Just choose to share and have purity in that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have purity in that, everything is awesome. This world has a lot of sorrow, Chris. Every day people are getting killed out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I see people having this malice in their heart. Why? Because they have a certain name or certain religion or certain faith or whatever, certain color. What is this? If somebody, an alien race comes here, they would cry, literally cry looking at our state.
Mm.
looking at the state of affairs in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of sorrow, and the only way to heal sorrow, the only way to heal sadness is through joy and love,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Whenever you get wounded, what would you do? What would you do? Do you scrape it off? No, you cannot. If
Mm.
you scrape it off, you will get wounded more,
Right. Right.
right? So you
Yeah.
cannot give pain, you have to soothe,
Right.
right?
Mm.
If you get wounded, you have to soothe it. So if you have sorrow, you have to give joy. If you have pain, you have to give love. So that is what I believe in, Chris, and I hope people understand this thing soon, because life is very short and we all have very limited time in this life. So I hope people understand that before everything ends,
Mm.
and I will at least fight for it, till I die. And then it might be a next moment also. So I'm using every moment here, talking to you, Chris. So if I die tomorrow, then please do tell people that I said this.
If you're not going to die tomorrow, you better not, because you need to do this for another 80 years or so, and I'll be telling your story for a long time. Man, that's really good. That's very encouraging. That's what I'm going to do when I hang up here, is go love on my family and bring joy to them. That's a great idea. I mean, it's so simple. It's so simple. All right, so how can people follow you? Websites, blogs, social media? Do you have anywhere people can kind of keep up with what you're doing?
Yes, my Facebook, page is there. So facebook.com
Mm-hmm.
slash the Tewari, Thetewari.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my profile. So they may connect to me directly.
Great.
My page is also there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's facebook.com slash livemad forever, LIVEMAD Okay,
Okay.
so forever. And my website is soon to be launched. It's www.livemad.org.
Awesome.
So,
We're
and
going to
my
put all
email
those
ID is,
links on our website. If you're
yeah,
listening or watching right now, you can hit isharehope.com, and all the links are right there.
yeah. So,
Good. Oh, man, great. So, last question. This is not one of our 5, but what's next? You've done so many things. If you got this dream out there, you're thinking, I'm just starting to think of this. I might try this someday in the future. What is it?
many things, Chris. I'm writing 3 books. Okay. Um, so,
You're a little
and
bit
they're
busy then. Good grief.
no.
Wow.
So it always happens, if I'm so at any moment I'm like doing 5 things. So it's like a cluttered head. So I'm writing these 3 books. So one is an anthology of poems, which has I write a lot of erotica, and you love to understand I'm a virgin still. So, so that is the extreme I go to. I'm a total oxymoron, and I love telling people about it. I'm like, I brag about this.
I
See,
love
I
it.
never had this, but then I
That's
write about
great.
it.
I love it. It's fantastic.
So one is that, and then one is Livemad, which is an inspirational thing,
Huh?
and it tells about the same thing, finding the inspiration within yourself. The third is a beautiful autobiography,
Hmm.
and not about me. So it's about a non-living thing, and
Hmm.
how it charts the journey, of existence, and for 10,000 years it is there. So
Wow.
uh, the whole
That's
thing,
a cool
yeah.
idea.
Mm.
Wow.
So that is one of the stuff. And then, Chris, I applied to the Bill and Melinda Gates the
Hmm.
fund last year. So I made this AIDS contraceptive for oral sex. So
Cool.
that is the next thing, because 1.5 million cases of AIDS every year are through oral sex,
Wow.
and they through oral sex, a lot of diseases, STD, AIDS, gonorrhea,
Mm-hmm.
these develop. So that is one aspect which is still not addressed in
Mm-hmm.
in our medical sciences. So I've made a contraceptive which can be worn over the mouth, and people who resort to oral sex, they can
Interesting.
always prevent
Wow.
themselves from STD, AIDS. So that is, like, I'm talking about 5% of AIDS cases across the
Sure.
world.
It's a big
That is a
chunk of.
huge
That's a
number.
big piece of the puzzle right there.
1.5 million cases, and you'd be very amazed to know that most of the countries, in certain countries, since intercourse is considered a taboo, the youth resort to oral sex, and they do not have any kind of
Mm.
protection there. So this particular thing is next. So I'm also looking for funding opportunities for that. So
Very
because
smart.
again, this is a very cheap product. So it's like 1.5 times the cost of a condom. So it's like very cheap. It can be used anywhere. So that is the next thing I would love to look at. Then
Mm.
Shakti is there, the vessel part, and then I don't know, I'll keep creating, and
I love it.
I believe something good will
Let
happen.
me point out one thing before we go for people that are watching or listening. I think it's
Mhm.
important to note that you're making a difference in people's lives that may not be a complete change. So many people think, well, to do something good for society or bring a group of people to a better place, I have to get kids that need education through college. Well, no, you don't. A first grade education is better than no education. Or they may
Mhm.
think, well, you mentioned all the young ladies who are involved in the sex trade there, that
Mhm.
you've decreased from 15 to 18 encounters a night down to 6 or 7. They think, well, they're still in prostitution or they're still in the trade. How
Mhm.
horrible. It's not worth it. No, it's completely worth it. Or,
Mhm.
or in this case, teenagers who may not be having sex in the fullest sense of it may resort to oral sex, and you're
Right.
I mean, it's not that you have to fix something all the way. You're
Yes.
you're getting them the next step. It's better than what they have today. That's a really big
Certainly.
thing.
Certainly.
I really,
Chris
really
is.
appreciate you doing that and
Mhm.
taking time to say, even though it's not all of the problem fixed,
Huh.
it matters to every
Mhm.
little piece that you do fix.
Mhm. Because Chris, I believe the pursuit of human life.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I would like, I would, rather, help somebody, just get up on one leg,
Mm-hmm.
and then I leave him, okay? Because he has one leg,
Mm-hmm.
okay? I never give, beggars anything. Why? Because they are beggars. They have hands and, legs to work. They are not willing to work.
Mm-hmm.
They are instead begging. So I never ever give to them. I instead give people who really require it, not to feed them, but to help them start something next, something more graceful. My idea of the thing is that any kind of problem cannot ever be solved in a fullest manner.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to do that, you would end up ruining things. Why? Because people get into that groove and they love that problem more than their own development. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it happens. It's a paradox.
Mm-hmm.
And what is important is that you give them hope enough that they can create hope for themselves. So it's like hope is like that fuel, nah? So you just give it, and then they have their engines running. So they would keep on and on and on and on, and then they make a life out of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that particular initial fuel injection is very important for all of us. So whenever we are trying to make any change happen, it's very important that we understand that people require that injection of hope, only one. And then there are other venues where people would require hope.
Right.
That's
Somebody
about
else can take it to the
it.
next step. That's awesome. Wow. Swapnil, you're amazing. Thank you for your time. I so
Sorry,
appreciate your time.
thank you so much.
So what time is it there right now? I think it's 9 o'clock
No,
in
no,
Memphis,
it's
Tennessee.
8:35. Yeah, 8:35.
What time?
8:35.
8:25 in the morning.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's on Wednesday.
It's on Wednesday. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Wednesday.
9:05 Tuesday here. I can see the light starting to come through your window over there.
Yes, yes.
Well, I've ruined your good night's sleep. So I hope you get to
No,
take a
no, no.
nap.
Let's see. Please do not, degrade this honor that you have given. Never
You've
ever do that. So this is a great thing. Chris, you are taking this message forward. Okay, you are a multiplier. If you think, Chris, that by doing all of this that you do, okay, talking about people, world leaders of hope, whatever, there may be endless names to it, endless brands to it. What is your role?
hmm,
What is your role, Chris?
my
You have the greatest role. Let me tell you, I won't let you speak now. You have the greatest role. Okay, you are the X. Okay, the multiplier. Okay, you multiply things. You are, these are 1,000 people. You are equivalent to a million. Why? Because these 1,000, when they go into 1,000, okay, it goes into that million bracket. So you have a larger duty, you have a larger purpose, you have a larger cause. So always believe in that. I'm great, your modesty is great, your humility is great, but then I am very, very grateful and very honored to speak to you, and I thank you for doing this. you are a great multiplier, and keep on with this. My best wishes.
Swapnil, thank you. You're very kind. Same to you. You know it's true about you as well, and thank you very much. You're a great man. Thank you for the encouragement. I can't wait to share your story.
Arre.
Okay, sir. Have a great day.
You where is that question and answer session, that Q&A you told me about, that thing was written down,
Oh
that
yeah.
Q&A fast, where is
I
that?
had the only question I thought of right off the bat was what are you thinking about doing next? But I mean,
Okay.
you've blown my mind like 10 times tonight. Like I'm thinking, how in the world? How do you survived all these things? You did all these things. And you're only 28. I mean, it's just too much.
Oh,
Okay, but I do have one question. The Forbes
yes.
social entrepreneur that you're on the Forbes international list, the youngest one ever.
Uh-huh.
What is that like? Do they give you a call and say, "Hey, just letting you know you're on the list," or do you just somebody tell you, "Hey, I saw your name," or how does that work?
So that particular thing happened when I was like 25,
Yeah.
and they shared the stats. So through that, this particular title came. No social entrepreneurs, had a thing there. So I spoke to the Forbes people. What is like, what is that? So they say, there is no stat like that in our official records. But then if it is like coming like that, you may say, okay, fine. So that was good for a branding stuff. Why? Because most of the people in India, they do not, look at good causes. They look at good names. Okay, so that was a very big necessity. I hope this thing does not come into the interview part. But then, yes, I'm telling you. Why? Because here in India, most of the people, if you're doing good work, they won't ever, call you. But then if you have, names like Forbes and, Guardian and
Mm-hmm.
Telegraph, they would, oh, you're a great celebrated man. So that time when I got this particular thing done, that was the time when I was like, in that particular mode, coming
Mm-hmm.
out of Naxalite area, that rebel area, losing everything. I lost 35 lakh rupees. Okay,
Oh.
everything I lost. I was 45 days in torture with them. They used to keep, do not, put this in the interview. I'm telling you, Chris.
Okay.
You have a bamboo, right? They used to brush the bamboo. Okay, it was like a brush, and the technique of torture was they used to, grill it inside your, backside. So for 6 days, I was like with that particular thing. I was bleeding and I was like almost dead. So I was repeating this thing in mind. More the pain, more the love. More the pain, more the love. So the more the pain you give me, more the love I will give back to you. So that was the moment I learned a lot of things. So to recover from all of that, I required these names, and because of that, this title is there. Nobody has contested till now, but then okay. So you may choose to remove that.
I'll
Okay.
I'll I'll take it out.
So you may just say that India's youngest social entrepreneur to be featured in Forbes, because that is proven. Yeah.
Thank you.
So that is the thing.
Thank you.
Okay, Chris.
Thank you.
It was lovely talking to
It was
you.
lovely talking to you too. Have a great day. I'm honored. Thank you for your time.
And thank you so much. And when is this thing coming up?
As soon as I can get it out. This is when I went out
Acha.
fast.
So this requires editing, a lot of editing, right?
Yeah, so right now technically we're recording for things that are being released in February, which is
Okay.
amazing. People have been so responsive and willing to be part of our interviews, and but
Oh, lovely.
every interview I have, I'm always like, I want to release this today, but it just takes time to go through and cut a few things out and make it,
Certainly,
sound right
certainly.
and clean. We want it to be really, really, but I'll let you know as soon as it's released
Sure, definitely.
and give
Thank
you
you
the
so much.
links, and we'll share it with everybody. It's in over 40 countries right now, so
Oh,
I
lovely.
I so
That's all.
appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. And Chris, one thing I'd like to give back. I do something called as word art. Okay.
Hmm.
So I take inspiration from people's name, I meditate on them, and then I do an art. Okay, I can send it online to you, so you can get it printed as a poster outside.
Yes.
Okay, so I would love to know your and your wife's name. So I would make something on both of you. So just send me across yours and your wife's name. So Chris, and what's her name, if I may know?
Jill Williams, Chris and Jill Williams. I just sent it to you in a
Jill is
message.
J-I-double-L,
Yeah, I
J-I-double-L,
just
right?
sent it
So
to you in
Chris and
Skype.
Jill.
Look in the Skype
No, so
message.
yeah, got it. Yeah.
Okay,
So
good.
Chris and Jill Williams. So okay,
Yeah.
so Chris and Jill. So that would be there soon with you. So
Thank
I
you.
have your email ID, so I'll send it across. So
I so appreciate
something.
it, man. Thank you. Swapnil, you're fantastic. Thank you. You're very
Thank you so
kind.
much.
I can't wait to see that. All right.
So okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Chris, have a nice day and
Thank you very
give
much.
my love to your family.
I will.
And, keep on doing the great work that you do.
You do the same. Keep in touch.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Bye-bye.
Lovely. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye.
You've just listened to I Share Hope. If you're ready to make a change, head to our website at isharehope.com and claim your free copy of the top 10 actions of hope from world leaders to use hope in your own life. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.